Good evening, and beyond the new, my fond fair friends and family. This is Diomedes Rouge, here to introduce you to yet another new series on my channel. And as you could tell from the title, this one's going to be fun. This is What If Deku Was a Brachidios? Now, I will put credit where credit is due. I was inspired by the Orc Slayer What If. However, this is going to be quite different. Well, there will be similarities. He did create a damn good world after all, but this is going to be quite different. Now, our story will start off with some world building. There are now, as you know, there is the quirk gene. However, in this world, the females of the human race are usually the ones that possess the, as we would look at it, the standard version, the humanoid version. They can get several different abilities, super strength, speed, possibly even flying, mild mutations all the way up to major ones. Be able to shoot ice and fire from their hands, grow extra arms and such. However, the males of this universe, they have a different side of the quirk gene. Theirs is a bit more primal. It's known as the monster-fied version, or the monster gene. Now, with this monster gene, instead of the standard human gene, a lot of things change. They are more dangerous, you could put it. Less in control of their own nature. Now, a lot of men are able to gain control and are easily able to counteract these effects. But throughout these monsters, there are certain creatures known as apex monsters. Ones that are so dangerous that you usually don't, well, mess with. Ones that stand above and tall in the food chain. These people, or monsters, are, well, a bit more hard to control. Now, the likelihood of you being born as a monster, or with the monster quirk gene, is 75% if you're male. The likelihood of you being born with the monsterification quirk gene as a female is only 25%. However, there's a likelihood of you being born with a standard quirk as a female is 75%. So there's usually no cases of quirkless females. Almost all females on this planet have, well, an ability or power of some sort, and for the males, well, the likelihood of one of their kind having a quirk instead of a, well, monsterification quirk is about 10%. So as you could tell, there's still a bit of wiggle room for them to be quirkless, unfortunately. However, we won't have to worry about that just yet. Now, our story will take place as we deal with Hisashi. Yes, Hisashi. Now, as we open up this story, Hisashi is 18 years old and is about to try to attend UA University. And yes, I made UA, not UA, God bless. My Hero Academia a university in this. Why? Because I don't really think high school students should be putting their lives in danger without, at least signing off on some sort of waiver and being legalized adults. Don't get me wrong, it makes for a good anime and everything, but it does open a few plot holes, if you don't mind me asking. Why are you letting kids fight these dangerous things? Not that smart. A lot of lawsuits. Lot of lawsuits. Anyways, so Hisashi's about to try and attend My Hero Academia University. UA University. He goes through the challenge portion and, well, considering he is a Brachidios, he is able to get quite a few points. Up to 85 on the combat portion by himself. And he's even able to rescue a few people. With his immense power, strength, speed, all of that jazz. Now, he thinks he's done pretty good for himself. He's happy, he's going around, he's like, yes, I think I finally got in. Unfortunately for him, things are not looking too up. Because within 2 weeks, as he's doing his training and everything, he gets a letter from UA. He opens it up, and it's a rejection letter. Why, you may ask? Well, there's something I didn't mention. Those with monstrification quirks are somewhat looked down upon. They are viewed as beasts, things that can go wild and attack others at a moment's notice. Upon reading it, it tells him, our deepest apologies for having to inform you. But due to your abilities and species, you will be unable to be accepted into getting into UA. Please stay safe and have a good day. Hisashi just looks at this thing and gets pissed off. Understandably so, but he gets beyond furious. He gets so furious that the slime that's usually concealed in his hybridization or monstrification form actually begins to kind of pop up on his standard human form, which he really is surprised by. For the rest of that day, he throws himself into his training, punching, pounding, destroying, well, virtually all of his own equipment. And that's when he comes across an idea that floats through his skull. Monster. They want to treat me like a monster. They want to say I can't be a hero. Alright. If they really think of me as something that can't be tamed, as something that no matter what I am, I'm going to destroy, that I can't be a hero, I'm gonna prove them all wrong. I'll show them what it truly means to be a hero. Is what he thinks inside his head. He packs up his bags and moves to a more run-down part of the city. Now, the reason for this? Sorry, had to yawn. The reason for this is because, he's going to do vigilante work instead. If he can't be a hero the legal way, he can at least do what he thinks is right. So, he gets prepared, and usually right before he leaves at night, he does one thing: hybridize. And as he hybridizes, as you could see there, his body begins to change and customize itself, and he begins to look as if a half-human monster hybrid, similar to what you see there. And he runs around. Now, as he does so, he begins to fight all sorts of little minor vandals, minor enemies, gang members, you know, the usual. Over the course of a few months, he's able to single-handedly clean up most of the slums by himself. Granted, when I say clean up, he usually dirties them first with some, explosions, soot, and, I wouldn't say dead, but near dead people tossed around and scattered along walls and such. Or into walls. He is not what you would call worried about restraint in this case. The way he views it, why should I have to worry about holding myself to a higher standard whenever the world will just view me as a monster anyways? Now, he doesn't try to kill. He, in fact, tries to avoid it. However, in some situations, he has been forced to, bring the hammer down. Now, you may ask, why would he choose hybridization over, being a Brachidios? 3 reasons. 1, it's a lot easier to move around the city whenever you're not, a giant walking monster. Kind of brings a lot of attention to yourself. 2, it's a lot harder to control your strength when you're a monster unless you're facing off against another monster who you think can take a couple big blows. And 3, as a monster, it is easier to kind of go into a bloodlust-like state because, you're a damn monster. It's not exactly what you would call easy to control yourself at times whenever you're that injured. But don't worry, he eventually will. Just be patient with me. Just be patient with me. Everything in due time, my friends. So, he's preparing to head out one night. He's worked out, he feels nice and strong, and he's happy. He's beyond happy. Whenever he begins to notice there's an abundance of heroes in the neighborhood, and he's just going, maybe I should hold off for a couple of weeks. So instead, he sits back down, he turns on the television, and what do you know? His little streets on them, well, his little neighborhoods on the TV. As a news reporter comes up and says, here at 11 o'clock news, we have found that we are here to talk about the random string of, well, gang and burglar disappearances in the burglar captures and occasional disappearances in the last 3 weeks in blah 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 neighborhood, because I'm not going to try and come up with a Japanese sounding neighborhood because I don't feel like researching it, and I'm not good coming up with Japanese names. You could just ask for Fallout. Now, he proceeds to... One moment here. Sorry about that, had to yawn again. Now, he proceeds to look a bit more closely, as they say they have not yet found the identification of the, well, person involved with these attacks. However, they do know that it is a monster of semi-large size, because I will say that he has transformed at least once or twice during his whole fighting, considering other males around, they will try and, fight off and get bigger. If not, try to utilize their strengths in one way or another form. Now, the reason for these sudden attacks against other gangs and such is unknown. However, due to a few people they have saved and such and such and such and such, this vigilante has gained the moniker of Devastation. Because usually when Hisashi kind of goes, well, Hisashi on people, he kind of leaves a few holes in the ground, walls, and people exploded exploded onto a wall, not dead for the most part, but they are kind of, sooty, covered in ash and a lot of other things. He leaves a lot of destruction in his wake, and considering he doesn't usually talk with people, they gave him the moniker Devastation. And Hisashi kind of looks at that and goes, Devastation? I like it. Not bad, not bad. Now, I will say this. One moment. Whenever Hisashi does eventually go out again after another couple months, he goes to a farther away part of the neighborhood, somewhere he hasn't gone to before. Now, I will say this has near been a year since this whole incident with UA, and he's going after a large gang, and I do mean a large gang. He isn't going to be easy by any means of his imagination, but he doesn't care. At this point, he's enjoying the idea of the challenge. Now, he gets there, walking through the streets and everything, and he comes across the, hideout. Pal, because he's done research into this. He's not an idiot. He's not brilliant by any means of the word. He's not super smart, but he's got some street cred to his name. He knows what to look for, and he knows who he's been looking for. And I will say that this is a, Yakuza hideout. So, what does he do? Simple. Hybridize. And he busts open the door with one solid punch. The doors fly open and he just walks in. Everyone gets up. pulls out the guns, yada yada yada, starts laying into him. It's not doing much. If anything, what he's feeling is what you would consider a minor tickle from just the bullets and everything bouncing off the scales and armor and such. It's more of an annoyance than anything. And upon getting fed up with this annoyance, he decides to run around and smashing people and blowing them up. Every punch he leaves a small amount of, well, explosive slime that will, after about 2 seconds, boom. And this just hits a chain reaction as he just goes around punching everyone in the chest and gut and occasionally shoulder, just going boom, 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 boom. As he just stands back at the center, goes, well, that was easy. Oh, the main event's yet to start, boy. Who the hell are you? And if you have any idea who I am, if I were you, I'd back off and just walk out of here. I don't really care who you are, but your gang's kind of finished. You really think my gang's finished that easily, kid? You're 10 years too early to be telling me what to do. As this big man starts walking out, and, well, let's just say he's not exactly what you would call the most kind-looking of individuals. Hybridize. As this person, well, this man transforms into, well, a hybridized version of the Galvanus. Now, this person is very, well, he is what is considered an apex predator. But Hisashi's just looking at him and going, oh, is that all? Is that all? And here I thought you were going to be a threat. All right there, big boy. Let's see what you got. As they begin to clash and smash with each other. The Galvanus man brings out his, well, his bladed tail and begins to smack and trying to hack Hisashi. Hisashi's just evading and deflecting it, throwing out explosive blows in a flurry of devastation. But it's not, and while it does hurt the Galvanus man, he does occasionally get a lucky strike in on Hisashi. Hisashi's not that powerful yet, you could say. He's powerful, but he's not A-rank powerful. He's not top 10 hero powerful. He's more like top 20. He may have been training his ass off, but he's still very young, and just because he is that type of, well, monster, that's why he's essentially already in that league. He has to train a lot more, which he will, don't worry. The fight keeps going on and on and on, and eventually people are hearing this boom, boom, and fire crackling and explosions blasting off and all that. And eventually both of them get tired and you'll just go. And Hisashi just says, all right, if you back off now, I'll let you leave. And this man just goes, you really think I'm going to back off just because a little wimp like you is in my way? Nah, I'm going to rip you apart. Monsterification. As he, well, turns into the Galvanus. Gets a lot bigger, breaks through the building and everything, and then begins to chase down Hisashi. Hisashi's not wanting to bring out his, well, Brachidios form just yet because he's kind of been feeling a bit awkward about it recently. Like every time he's gone into it, it feels like it's changed or he's not felt right about it. But he sees this thing and just keeps on coming after him. It's not afraid of hurting civilians or anything else, so he turns around and says, Monsterfication. And he turns into the standard Brachidios form. Now, this fight is catching everyone's attention. It's a battle of monsters. Why wouldn't it? They attack, blast, blow up each other, attack each other with fire, slashes, everything. It is going down epically. The Galvanus will spin around, try and swing down its tail, while frickin' Hisashi will jump to the side, get up close, and punch into his side, leaving behind explosive slime. The Galvanus will turn around, try and bite Hisashi, but Hisashi will just use his soul, will just feed it a bit of his horn as he just lets the slime pour off of it and blow the mouth apart. Well, not apart, I'll say, but definitely doesn't make it feel any better. I'd say, considering the Galvanus uses its mouth to sharpen its tail, yeah, it's not going to blow up that easy, but you get the gist. They move back, they attack each other back and forth, and it's coming down to a big head whenever Hisashi swings his that hammer-like tail. Well, not really even hammer. It's more of a dang flail or mace-like tail straight into the head of the Galvanus. Brrr! Following it up by one hell of a right hook. Just insult to injury right at the center chest. And it just sends this Galvanus flying back a good 15 feet, laying on his, well, back, as he begins to de-transform back into his human-like state. But now he has a bit of a problem. The police, the heroes, everybody. They're now gathering around there, because it's been a good solid 10 minutes these two have been going at it in their monster forms, and Hisashi goes, shit. And he then goes hybridize and begins to run like a motherfucker. Why? Because he's not good. He knows he's not good enough to be fighting all those heroes. But at the same point in time, he's tempted. Don't get me wrong. He's very tempted to try, but he knows that in this case, retreat is a better option. Now, he begins to run away full speed, at least until he could try and find a place to hide in at and try and de-transform back into his normal human state. But then they wind up with people like Mirako, as well as Eraserhead, and even Hawks is coming in on this. Why? Why would they call in people of the top 10? Because two monsters were fighting in the middle of the street. Yeah, whenever two monsters clash, it's a big job. They're not going to call in the number 1 and 2 heroes for it, but they're going to call in some big guns. And I will say this, yes, Aizawa's quirk does work on monsters, because it is technically a quirk in this world. I'm not going to make them broken AF. I will make Aizawa semi-broken, but he has to use martial arts, so he's earned the right to have his bit of prowess, you could say. Or in this case, her amount of prowess, because yes, this is female Aizawa. So these people are all chasing after Hisashi. Hisashi's going left, right, ducking between alleys. And he then jumps down into a sewer. Why? He figures no one's going to be crazy enough to follow him there, because no lights were on him or anything of that. He thinks he's escaped. So he keeps walking down, but he keeps his hybridization form on, because he's a little bit paranoid right now. His heart's bumping, everything's going a mile a minute in his head. He's just going, okay, get somewhere safe first, then turn back. And that's whenever he begins to hear a very slow and methodical "Congratulations. You fell right into my trap." Huh? Who's there? Oh, just a new and upcoming hero. I figured you'd be coming down this way. Huh? Who are you? Where are you? Show yourself. Or what? You'll explode the tunnel above. You'll start throwing punches and explode this tunnel, collapsing it in on yourself, revealing not only your location, damaging you, and probably not even touching me. Show yourself now. Very well. As a set of lights begin to turn on. What the hell? Who are you? Well, young sir, I am. Sorry about that fumble. I got used to saying his name. Well, sir, or is it devastation? I am the new and upcoming hero. My name is Suprema. And you have, well, fallen into my trap. As she presses a button, and then Hisashi's entire body begins to, well, kind of go numb and begin to feel an immense amount of pain as, well, essentially an electric shock trap has gone off underneath his feet. Hisashi, being very pissed off by this, says, "Is this all you've got? I've handled a lot worse from a lot better." Oh, I know. We've kind of been keeping track of you, sir. Now, I tell you what. If you transform back into your normal human self and surrender, I'll deactivate the trap. And you won't suffer any more pain. You can try and break free of it yourself, but in your standard hybrid-like state, you won't have any effect. And inside this sore, if you try and monsterify, well, you'll bring the entire, well, what's above you down on your head. Just give up, and everything will be fine. Not on your life, you dumb broad. Well, that's not very nice. After all, my quirk is super intelligence. And yet you're challenging me. Do you realize how stupid that is? Oh, very, but considering how much of a pain you've been to other heroes, it's not. I kind of have to increase my ranking and such. You know, if I could bring down the thing that they had a hard time fighting, well, it's good press. That's what it's all about these days, huh? Press. As he begins to go from being on his knee to slowly beginning to stand, you have no idea what it means to be a real hero. Oh, and you do, Mr. Vigilante. I didn't choose to be a vigilante. Oh? Really now? I wanted to be a hero. I wanted to get in the actual way. I wanted to be ace number one up there right next to All Might, and up next to Almighty and Endeavor. But your kind, you people don't accept monsters no matter what. You toss us aside like we're trash. So if I can't be it legitimately, then I'll be a hero in my own damn right. As then Hisashi punches the wall. But he does a bit more than just punch the wall. He releases an excessive amount of slime into the crack he's just made, causing a relatively large explosion, which causes, well, lines to break and water to overflow through there, short-circuiting the trap after giving an immense electric shock to him, which he was expecting. He short-circuits the trap and begins to, well, flood them both kind of down the sewer. But unlike her, he's able to grab onto something, or he would be if it wasn't for the sheer fact that he thinks this girl is gonna drown in a bunch of sewage. And while Hisashi may be what you would call a irritated guy, he's not one to let someone die, especially a hero die, if it means that he can, if there's even a chance that he could, well, save them. He says, God damn my kindness, as he goes with the flow and, sure enough, catches up to her and drags her out of the sewer. Now, they traveled from one part of town, I'd say all the way down a good 4 to 5 blocks to the other part. He drags her up and, well, places her up against a building, calls the cops with her phone, and humanizes and walks away. At that point, yes, this is going to be a long one, buckle up, folks. He gets home, he washes up very thoroughly because, you know, smells like a sewer. Not fun. He washes up, cleans himself off, and boy is he pissed. Boy is he pissed off. Not only did this woman try and get the upper hands on him, but she nearly did, just because she was able to figure out where he was gonna run off to. He says, damn it, I need to learn to be more careful. They're gonna be after me in full force now. I better lay low for a couple months. And so he does. Now I will say this, Suprema, or as we all know her, Inko Midoriya, she is trying to put together Hisashi's identity. She's trying to figure out who Devastation truly is. And then she begins to think. He went to UA. And she looks into UA University and kind of goes back through the student years and everything and begins to actually track Hisashi down. Or rather, I should say, at least track down, well, his name. Because there aren't that many Brachidioses in Japan. At most, I'd say there's about 50 to maybe 100 throughout the entire, well, continent. So yeah, and they're pretty scattered. They don't usually like being around each other very much. It's kind of instinctual, I guess you could say. Now, pardon me one moment. She goes off and she, well, does her thing. She figures out who this person was, what happened, and she looks back at the old entrance exam footage because, well, she had special permission to go to the school and examine it and investigate it because she is a very smart person and she is, well, what you would call a hero detective. And she looks back over the old footage and everything, and she's shocked. This man dealt that much damage to the robots to not only destroy one pointers and two pointers in one blow with his hybrid form, but to actually save people with his monsterification and destroying three pointers. Not only that, but he saved a couple others. This should have easily gotten him into UA, if not Class 1A. And then she starts looking into it more. Don't accept people for who they. And then she starts looking at the current principal, not Nezu, current principal. And I will say this principal, she has a thing against, well, monsters. Considering she views them all to be evil and everything else of the line. And this person who has this bias has unintentionally created one of the most dangerous vigilantes currently known. Now, Inko, doing more research into this person, has, well, uncovered several more incidents of the such, and has essentially, well, and over a course of a couple of weeks, gotten this person not only fired, but blacklisted. She says, another job well done. Now, back to you, my friend, as she looks at a picture of, well, Hisashi. Hisashi's just doing what he thinks is normal whenever he hears a knock on his door one day. He's busy cooking and everything else. He says, 1 minute. And he comes and opens the door and he, well, you know, sees Inko in her full hero gear just right there, just going, good day, Miss good day, what do I owe the pleasure of a hero stopping by? You can cut the act. What act? I know who you are, Hisashi Midoriya, or should I say, decimation. Please come in. She does, he shuts the door, and he says, would you like some tea, or something to drink? She says, no, that's fine. You can continue on eating. I've already ate today. As they sit down at the table. Now, Hisashi kind of nervously asks, so, how did you figure out who I am? You kind of told me, huh? I didn't want to be a vigilante. I wanted to be a hero. They kicked me. They didn't accept me for who I was. Do you know how rare your species is? Like, no offense, Hisashi dear, but you're not exactly, your species of Brachidios isn't exactly, well, very popular around here, you could say. It's not exactly a flourishing species of monsterification. Okay. So obviously you're either here to capture me, in which case you're doing a terrible job, you're here to lower my guard, waiting for me to make a mistake, or you're here to talk. Which is it? Talk mostly. Okay. What do you want to know? I want you to quit. What? Quit being devastation. You're going to quit being a vigilante. And if I refuse, I'll spread your name as well as your picture to the whole media. And what if I tried to stop you? Messi kind of doubles up his fist. You do know we live in the digital age, correct? Before you could even move across this bench or this table, I can press this button and ruin your whole identity. Not to mention, you don't kill heroes. We've had plenty of opportunities to do so, because I will say he's probably fought with a few minor heroes before. You don't do that. You may injure them, but you don't kill them. Fine. I'll quit. Good boy, Hisashi. See, we can come to a compromise. Yeah, compromise. Good. Now for my next demand. You see, I've kind of been looking into you, and I have to say I'm impressed. Impressed? I saw your videos of what you did in Heroes while you were a hero, and it's quite surprising. Now, granted, due to your current activities, trying to become a hero now is not wise, considering there's no real way you could do so. You've kind of ruined your own name at this point, but the person who... You can rest assured that the person who discriminated against monsters at UA is now gone. She's, well, been kicked out and even blacklisted thanks to yours truly. And, well, mostly thanks to you, because if you wouldn't have said anything to me, I wouldn't have looked into it. So, you can pat yourself on the back if you feel. Oh, how glorious. So, what do you want with me, Miss Inko? You can call me Inko. Miss Inko, what do you want with me? Besides me quitting being a vigilante. Oh, that's simple. First, you've got to quit being a vigilante. Second, me and you are going to have a very long discussion about what we're going to do about your current situation and how we can try and improve it. Improve it? Change you over from being a vigilante and possibly send you back into the hero limelight. What? Why, yes, you didn't actually think that I was going to, well, just let you stay in the background, did you? No, 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 Hisashi. You've deserved much more than that. Besides, you are a very powerful, well, person. Now, and last thing is last, considering everything I've done for you and everything of the such, you're gonna take me on a date. What? Yes. I'll meet you up here at, meet you in front of the train station, in fact, say 7 p.m. tomorrow evening. Wait, what? Wait, what? Don't be late and try and wear something at least somewhat formal. Huh? Wait, what? Oh, no, 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 don't need to worry yourself, Hisashi. As I said, I've become quite interested in you. I don't really have a choice in this, do I? No, not really. Okay, I'll meet you in front of the train station at 7. There we go. And that's essentially how they kind of get together. Now, Hisashi, he's not the biggest fan of this. He at first he's not the biggest fan of this, but as he gets to know Inko, aka Suprema, they do kind of get along together, and they do eventually settle down. No one knows Hisashi's true identity or anything of the such, or rather his vigilante identity, and they're all they kind of are able to keep it hidden. He tries to pass himself off as quirkless to her friends and family. But eventually, the family somewhat finds out, or rather, I should say, her mother does. So, there's at least that. Trust me, we'll come into play later. Now, a few years later, as we all know, young Izuku is born. Now, Izuku's just this tiny little thing, and we'll skip to about age 2. Now, Inko's out doing her hero work as Suprema, and Hisashi's basically a stay-at-home dad. Has formula, everything. Izuku's getting growing the little teeth and all that, and suddenly there's a loud explosion on the other side of town, and Hisashi kind of gets a bit worried for some reason, almost as if something instinctual in his body is telling him something's wrong. He quickly turns on the television to try and figure out what happened, and, well, a large terrorist organization known as the, well, League of Villains has attacked a shopping district. Heroes are currently on their way to try and save everyone. And then it finds out that there are multiple bombs scattered around everywhere, and, well, Inko was caught in the blast when she was trying to deactivate it. And one of the villains saw this and detonated it prematurely. Instead of it going off on time, some villains and, well, Inko were caught in the blast. Hisashi is furious, because he feels as if something's desperately wrong. He waits. He puts young Midoriya to bed later on, and he waits for Inko to come home, because it hasn't been revealed that she's passed on. So he waits at the door, and he waits, and he waits. Then around 10 p.m., there's a knock. He walks up, and there are policemen there. We regret to inform you that your wife has died in the line of duty. We apologize. Leave. Sir, if you want to, leave. As Hisashi's eyes quickly flash a brilliant green. Or rather, a brilliant red. My apologies. Got a little confused there. The police take this as a very big say-so to walk away. He sits back down at the table and he lets out a few tears. Then he punches himself straight in the face and says, "No. No, think of the boy. You have to be stronger now more than ever, you dumb bastard. You have to be strong. You have to raise Midoriya. You have to raise little Izu. If nothing else, you gotta give him a damn good life for her sake now as well. Over the next couple weeks, he plans the funeral arrangements and everything else. Inko's family slowly but surely loses contact with Hisashi. He doesn't care. He never really liked them anyways. He only liked Inko. And he doesn't really have any family of his own. So he raises little Midoriya by himself in an apartment. He works 2 different jobs and is basically doing everything he can to provide for his little boy. At this point, we'll cut to the age of where Izuku is around 4. Now, he goes to the quirk doctor, or is planning to go to the quirk doctor, whenever they do, or on their way to at least, there's a bit of a minor incident. There are several police sirens going past, whew, and all that sort of junk, and little Midori is curious, because he looks at that and says, "Dad, what's going on?" "Nothing to be worried about, boy. Nothing at all. Just stay focused. It's gonna be okay. Just don't worry about it." And that's when they notice they're pulling up into a, construction building that's, being constructed. A building that's under construction. And I'd say it was about 3 blocks away from where the quirk doctor is supposed to be doing all his quirks and everything of the such, or rather examining all the kids and everything. And the reason for the police going over there and being over at the soon-to-be constructed building, or rather the building that's under construction, there has been a villain that has kidnapped a, child. A young girl with black, spiky hair. As we all know, Momo. So, yeah. She's been kidnapped, and essentially this villain, or rather I should say this monster villain, is a Deviljho. Now, the reason for his immediate running away from the cops was because, this particular person just got caught, is known as a, hero killer, you could say. A villain that likes just to kill things for fun, as we all know Deviljhos are. But this isn't just any standard Deviljho or monster male. He is what's known as a 1%er. Now, what I failed to mention to you all, and something I purposely kept somewhat hidden till this moment, a 1%er is someone who can use monsterification, but also has a quirk. Only 1% of the population of monsters also have quirks at the same time. And this particular monster has the ability to grow immense amounts of muscle fibers all over its body. Yes, this is muscular. Oh yes, I'm doing this. The reason he kidnapped the little girl, get the cops off his back, what else? Otherwise, he probably just would have nom 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 on her already. Now, Blue Midoriya, he's not liking the way this looks at all. he sees this big monster with this little girl, and this girl is crying. She's scared as he's climbing up through the building and such. And I will say he's entered his hybrid form and all that. Isashi's trying to pull Lil Midoriya away and everything, trying to tell him it's none of our concern. But Dad, she needs help. Didn't you always tell me that a man is supposed to help out the weak? Said, yes, boy. A man is supposed to help the weak, but the police are already handling it. But they're not doing anything. They're just standing down there. It's a complicated situation, Midoriya. It's a complicated situation, Izuku. Don't get involved. Just don't, and listen to me. Okay? Listen to me. We just keep walking. The police will handle it. The heroes are probably on their way as well. But Dad. No buts, Izu. Now, get your little butt moving now. As they kind of begin to walk back. Well, get on track to the quirk doctor. At least that's what Hisashi thinks. Little Izu has kind of been holding a little secret in from his dear old daddy. Gonna try and make him proud over at the quirk doctors and everything, but for some reason this little Izuku's tiny brain is trying to factor in being a hero on top of all this, trying to live up to the greatness of All Might and all that. You could say he's a bit more, or rather a lot more, impulsive in this. Wears his heart on his sleeve, if you will. And what does little Izuku do? Simple. He full-on monsterfies and charges into the building, knocking over a couple police officers and everything. Hisashi's going, Izuku, you idiot! Get back here, you're gonna get yourself killed! As he takes off. Now, what is Izuku thinking at this moment? Why am I doing this? 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 Why are my feet moving on their own? As he begins to try and run up the building. Well, not up, but up the stairs of the building. They're under construction. And I'd say Muscular and his hybrid form are near the top. Near the 20th floor where they've somewhat constructed a lot of things. Now, this is an industrial building. It looks pretty solid and sturdy and all that. And Izuku's just kind of, once he gets to like the 13th floor and such, just begins to kind of slow down and run up slower and more sure of himself. He's like, I'm an idiot, I'm an idiot, I'm an idiot. Dad's gonna murder me. But I can't let this go on. I gotta do something, because you know Izuku can be an idiot at times. Now, he gets close enough to where he can start hearing the conversation of Muscular just walking back and forth going, son of a bitch, I can't believe that I got in this shit show. As you just hear random pounding on a cell phone. Hey, listen, I need your help. Yeah, I'm stuck up here. I don't feel, I can kill a lot more cops and everything, but that's just gonna increase the heat on me more. I need you to get them off me. I don't care I don't care what type of favor I'm calling in. You owe me one. Now, get off your damn ass and do your damn job. As he hangs up the phone, and Izuku is beginning to think, and he's beginning to go, okay, maybe if I do this, and this, there's a chance. I won't be able to win, but I can get her out of here. Okay, so first step, make a distraction. First step, run up to the side wall, jump at a 45-degree angle, impact the wall with my fist, causing a minor explosion, dropping rubble down upon the target. Then use the distraction to grab the girl by the back of her shirt and run down the stairs. Because I will tell you this, young Midoriya is a 1%er. That's right. Lil Midoriya inherited his mother's quirk of superintelligence. Oh, this is gonna be fun. So, he does exactly that. He runs up to the wall, jumps up at a 45-degree angle, but as soon as he impacts the wall, he gets tail slapped. Because I will say this, being able to make your tail while in hybrid form is a thing, you just gotta be damn good at it. While the rubble does fall down on Muscular, Izuku's hurt like hell. He cracked it. Little man just got smacked upside the head very badly. He's barely able to scurry up to his feet and run over to grab her and run off, but Muscular's hot on his tracks. But Muscular is kind of hot on his tracks, going, I'm going to enjoy ripping you apart, you little shit stain. I was gonna let you both let her live, but now I might just eat her for the fun of it. As Izuku's running as fast as he damn well little can with his little Brachidios legs. But, as we know, Muscular is gaining on them quickly. Until he hears a simple phrase. Straight devastation! As a straight right just flies straight towards Muscular's face, impacting him head on, sending him back about a good 4 feet. And then after he goes, oh, what the hell was, BOOM! An explosion happens right there on his face, sending him back another 10 feet. Izuku turns around to see, well, as we all know, this image right there. Ooh. Izu, we're going to have a serious talk later. You need to get the hell out of here now. What, take her and run. Your dad's got a bone to pick with the nice gentleman here. As he cracks his knuckles and neck and just kind of walks over intimidatingly towards, well, Muscular. Ugh. What the hell are you doing here, old man? Old man? I'm just barely older than you stupid punk. You just attacked my kid. Needless to say, I'm pissed. Do I look like I give a shit whether you're pissed or not? Your kid just screwed everything over, but it looks like I at least have a good snack. Ah, you're one of the cannibalistic types, huh? I've heard about you, as Sasashi kinda gets into a boxing pose and everything. I've heard of your kind. Willing to eat other monsters just to try and get stronger. Oh, you have no idea. I'm going to enjoy ripping you apart. That's if you can, you young punk. Bring it. As the clash begins. Flurries of blows are occurring up on top of this place as Devil Joe strength versus Brachidios skill is going down. Explosions, smashing, bashing. The building itself is getting rocked as Izuku gets out of there, gets out of the building, running full speed, finally collapsing down because he ran up technically 44 floors, considering 22 up and then 22 down. Yeah, he is tired. Even with the Brachidios stamina, he's still a kid. And he just kind of collapses with, well, little Momo on his back. Now, police are trying to do something to, like, scold little Izuku and everything, but Momo's family is just right there telling him, shut up. If a child was doing a better job than you idiots did, at least the child was willing to do something. Now, what's going on? Boom! As they see a loud smash and see, well, wait a minute, that can't be. That's the vigilante devastation. As Izuku kind of hears this, devastation? As we cut back to the fight between, well, Muscular and Devastation. They smash and thrash at each other. Sure. Muscular using powerful wide blows to try and hit Hisashi, but Hisashi's evading them with perfect time skill and prowess, and countering with a flurry of smaller blows, but leaving behind that explosive slime that explodes, blowing away his extra muscle fibers and everything else. Until Muscular gets a lucky punch in and sends him flying through a couple walls in the building, nearly all the way outside, whenever he was able to look down and he spots Hisashi spots his son. That's whenever Muscular walks through and says, so much for all that talk there, old-timer. And that's when Hisashi begins to laugh, going, oh, you are an idiot, aren't you? Huh? What are you? As Hisashi kicks him straight from behind, wrapping his legs around the torso of, Muscular, and slamming him down onto the ground, or rather, that floor of the building. As he quickly stands up, I was just biding my time for my son to get to safety, because I don't think using my full force in a building like this is a good idea with little children underneath it. But now that he's out of here, I'm going to beat the ever-loving crap out of you, and I'm not gonna hold anything back. As he then begins to unleash massive, heavy, devastating blows right on top of frickin' Muscular, left, right, encasing him in explosive slime that, then explodes. But Hisashi's unaffected by this. He's been through this shit plenty of times as he blows a hole underneath the floors. And as they do, he just goes down farther, smashing into him, creating a bigger explosion, breaking through that floor. This goes for over 22 floors as as they fall, smash, boom, fall, smash, boom. By the time they get to the ground floor, Muscular is, no more. Muscular is dead. Dead by a long shot. He died at around floor 10. All Hisashi was doing at this point was pounding the corpse into, submission. As he kind of walks out and turns back into his normal self, that's when the cops kind of point all their guns at Hisashi. Deku's just going, wait, what's going on? Dad, why are they... It's okay, boy. It's okay. A man's gotta pay... Well, your dad did some things he regrets early on in life, and it looks like it's time for me to face my comeuppance. But Dad, you... No. As Izuku just kind of goes back into his Brachidios form and just kind of stands in front of his dad. Because I will say, about like this age, he's probably about the size of a small horse as a Brachidios. And Hisashi's just kind of looking at him going, no. Izu, stand down. But Dad, no buts, boy. No buts. It's okay. I knew this would happen. But I had to keep you safe. But Dad, calm down. It's okay. I'll be alright. Me and the police are gonna just go and have a bit of a chat, okay? You're gonna be fine. But you, don't worry about me, boy. Don't worry about me, little Izu. Now, I'm gonna call your grandmother here real quick and see if she can pick you up and look after you for a little while, okay? Excuse me, sir. As Mr. Yaoyorozu walks over to him, as he basically holds up his hand and tells the police to lower their guns. They kinda do, considering, Yaoyorozus have a lot of respect even amongst the police force, and he talks to Hisashi saying, "What's your name, sir?" "Hisashi Midoriya." "Why?" "I'm Mr. Yaoyorozu, you could say. I don't know his full name, I'll just say Mr. Yaoyorozu." "If you wish, well, here, when you arrive at your little chat site, there's a friend I need you to call. He's trying to keep young Midoriya from figuring out that his dad might actually go to jail." "Why would you... You saved my daughter, sir, and from one father to another, I fully intend to help you. Now, if you want, my family can watch over your young boy, take him to get something to eat, and my child and yours can play for the rest of the day while you're indisposed of." "You won't try anything funny, will you?" "No, sir. As I said, from one father to another. You saved my little girl's life. I'm in your debt." "All right. I'll be back later, little Izu," as he rubs little Midoriya's head and then walks over to the cops and says, "All right, you jackwagons, let's get this over with." As they put on the quirk restraining cuffs and take him off to, well, jail. And that's, I think, where we'll leave it off here. Part 0 of What If Deku Was a Brachidios. Hope you all enjoyed, and this has been your humble narrator, Diomedes Rouge, signing off.